Okay, hello everyone and welcome to the live stream. A little bit slow getting up and running, but we're all good to go now. We've got a few people in the chat box straight away, so welcome everyone. Good to see you here. So, yes indeed, today is 29th of May, Sonic the Comic's 28th anniversary, 28 years since issue 1 hit newsagents. Sonic's 30th anniversary is, of course, next month, not too far off. So, Sonic the Comic's only 2 years away from hitting the 30th anniversary. Usually I have like a, well, it depends how long you've been subscribed to the channel, but the previous years I've done this YouTube channel, I've always usually had some sort of thing to do on the anniversary date, and I've kind of run out a little bit of time here. I did have some video content wanted to get up, but I never got a chance to finish it in time. So I've been holding this off for a little while, and it's been a long time since I've done any form of a video around the original artwork I own in my collection from Sonic the Comic. I think the last video I did on it was probably around 7 years ago, maybe, something like that, maybe even longer. So I've acquired a lot more since then, and it'll be great to kind of go through some of the collection, talk about it, and interact with all of you wonderful people in the chat box here with me. So, what we're going to do is just make sure everything's running good. Screen health, good. Right. So let's get this video underway. Welcome. Before we start, we've got Spyro, Brian Foster, The Sword, Brandon, CD, Mega from the 80s, Prosecutor Walton, Young, Hearty, welcome everyone. So I'm going to be kind of talking and going through this while we're going with everyone. So let's get this video underway. So I might pause it as I'm going through this, because I might end up talking longer than what it is. But firstly, of course, I've got a lot of comments on this one. I posted it about a month or so ago. This is the brand new avatar we've got for the channel, drawn exclusively for us from the man himself, the Sonic the Comic artist legend, Richard Elson. This wasn't a digital picture. Some people did think it was a digital drawn picture. No, this is actually a traditional drawn piece of Sonic artwork that would have been as if it was drawn for Sonic the Comic back in the day. This is really, really awesome, and this is an absolutely incredible piece. I think this is the first time Richard's drawn like Sonic. Just go back there a little bit, talk a bit more. Drawn this a high quality Sonic picture in a few years now. It might be the 25th anniversary picture he did, might have been the last one. But yeah, one day we might get a coloured version of this. That would be pretty awesome. But yeah, this is incredible, and you can see just how big it is. These are I've got them in big acid-free portfolio sleeves, so you can kind of see with the size of my hand on here just how big these actually are. Now, I've not really got these artworks in any sort of order of like oldest to newest, and the reason for that is because a lot of these artworks drawn by several different artists, and even the same artists, the sizes of the actual artworks changed over the years. So sometimes they were actually bigger, and later ones they would be a bit smaller, or maybe even some of the newer ones would have been a bit bigger. So the way I've got it distributed, stored, is obviously the larger ones are at the bottom, and it works up in size, and the smaller in size ones are at the top. So we might, but some of the strips we're going to come across are kind of in order, but there's no like overall order, as we'll see. But yeah, really, really awesome. I really agree with everything he's saying there in the comments. I see. Welcome, awesome jacket, dude. It's been a while since I've actually even done a stream or a video, to be honest, on this channel. I do apologise for the lack of content, but new content will come soon. It's on its way. It's on its way. Sometimes you just need to take a break on these things, and I have been super busy with, you know, the unfortunate chores of life. But I won't bore you with details. Thank you very kindly for the super chat, Spyro. That is a wonderful, wonderful gift. It's much appreciated. Really, really is. So yeah, that's the first one. Right. Here we go. So this is a commission. It's technically not a Sonic the Comic print, but it is Sonic the Comic related. I commissioned this from, unfortunately, the late now, Nigel Dobbins, back in 2015, I believe this is. I kind of wanted him to do a really epic Commander Brutus and Supersonic picture, with Brutus kind of getting the upper hand, and yeah, this was really, really awesome. I really was planning to kind of get around to doing some more commissions from Nigel, but unfortunately he passed away a year ago. Here's actually the rough, what it was going to look like, the rough design that was shown to me first. And he asked, as in Nigel saying this, do you want me to include the rough? And I was like, yeah, I'd be more than happy to have that. I'd love to just look at it and see what was changed. But this isn't actually really Sonic the Comic related, but I've got this in a portfolio sleeve with the collections anyway, so I might as well just show you. This isn't actually an original artwork, this is just it is official, it's a limited print. For those long-time subscribers, you might remember I did a giveaway on some of these quite a few years ago, and this was actually one of them that was for myself, because I think this is really, really, I do like this cover from Sonic Spinball. It was like a limited edition print they did, and my one is, let me just see what it says there, 707, I think, of 995. Okay, now on to some Sonic the Comic related stuff. We have, starting off with a cover artwork. Now, this was actually used twice. This is the cover artwork for issue 123, but there's actually two layers to this original artwork, because you can lift it up and remove Amy. And Amy was actually removed from the cover art that was used for issue 123. I think that was mostly because the text, think of what a Sonic the Comic issue looks like, and I think you've got the title and then you've got all the descriptions around it, so it kind of wouldn't have made sense to have Amy on there, so she was removed and it was just Sonic looking through. It was a Valentine's special, as you might notice there is actually a heart icon, because, you know, Sonic and Amy, right? But the complete version of this cover was used in a poster in a later, it might have been the same issue actually. Might actually say on here the description, yeah, requires both versions. Yeah, this must have been the poster as well in 123, so you would have got the complete version of your Son Amy cover art for those that would have wanted it. Oh, I should have mentioned that was a Carl Flint original artwork as well, because we're getting onto some more Carl Flint ones here. Here's from the strip Brute Force. I believe this was part 2. I picked up these Carl Flint artworks from him in person from a convention maybe about 6 years ago or so. Before I continue, welcome new people to the stream. Scary Donuts, Sonic Geek Gamer. Dancing in the moonlight. Son Amy fans will go nuts. So we've got another Carl Flint one. I think I got this one actually online. This is like the New Year's special one where Tails goes to the floating island, meets Knuckles, and Tails and Sonic kind of play pranks on Knuckles, much to Knuckles' delight. For those that are curious, these are all hand painted as well. They were. This was back before they were using Photoshop colours on the Sonic the Comic issues, so these were all hand painted in watercolour. Okay, so this is actually the earliest piece of Sonic the Comic artwork I actually own. It's another Cole Flint piece. It's actually Cole Flint's very first piece of Sonic the Comic work he did for Fleetway Sonic the Comic. This is actually the original cover art for issue 6. So this is this literally nearly is 28 years old. So this literally is near enough as old as the comic itself, because this was only a couple of months. Because for those that didn't know, Sonic the Comic was fortnightly as opposed to the American comics, which was monthly. So we had 2 issues a month. But yeah, really, really bad. The older pieces are so much. Usually go for a lot more money. It kind of depends what it is, really. But yeah, the fact that this is like such an early piece of Sonic the Comic is awesome. This was like before even Richard Elson had started with Sonic the Comic. That's how old this piece is. Okay, so this is actually quite an important piece. This is from issue 21, and you might notice at the top there that the title with this is actually in black and white, because that part of the comic would be coloured on a computer, as opposed to it just being like the photocopy version you see there of it, where it says Sonic the Hedgehog Girl Trouble Part 1. So this is actually page 1 from, as I just said, the title, the strip, Girl Trouble. And this is quite an important piece for Sonic the Comic, because this is actually the very first appearance of Amy Rose. So I've got the actual original page of Amy Rose's first appearance, and it's just this little panel here on the bottom left. That is Amy's very first appearance, which is pretty awesome. I'm very quite lucky and happy to own that. Okay, so we've got a few. I don't own too many of Jose Casanovas' artworks, who was, I believe, Spanish, I recall. I don't want to get confused. I might confuse a couple of these. I apologise. But these were some of the towel strips that he worked on. I know some of these towel strips probably weren't everyone's most fan favourites, but I think everyone can kind of really appreciate the artwork he did. He was... At the time, he was probably my second favourite artist working on Sonic the Comic, just with how detailed and livid the backgrounds are that he worked on. The majority of the pages I have of him are Towers related, but there is one page I own from with Sonic. I mean, just look at the detail here, like the castle and everything, and the goblins. Amy's first line was, "I don't care." It's very true. So this is the last Casanova's page I own, and it's definitely my favourite. He had a really awesome signature as well. If I pause it there, look how stylish that signature was. Unfortunately, he passed away quite a few years ago now. But his artwork will always immortalise him, and I certainly appreciate him greatly as an artist. Yeah, so this is, as I said, my favourite page of his. Of course, mostly because it's got Sonic. I mean, look, it's Sonic, you've got towers, they're in the Emerald Hill Zone. I'd probably say the most iconic stage from Sonic the Comic. It was definitely the zone that was, I said stage, didn't I? Definitely the most iconic zone used in Sonic the Comic. But yeah, really awesome. Okay, so we've got some more Cole Flint ones, and these are actually, I've got these styled in a different way, so I'm going to have to get these out to show these ones. So we've got some more Brutus pages, and these ones don't have the lettering sheets. The lettering sheets, for those that don't know, is the thin layer of plastic, clear plastic that goes on the top, and it has the text bubbles on. So you can see these pages have 0 text bubbles on them. The reason I've got these displayed facing inwards is because this particular paint that Cole Flint used as opposed to the others, and the pages themselves are much thinner, they're a lot more fragile, and they might damage by being touched on the plastic. Even though they are acid-free sleeves anyway, they're a lot more fragile than the others, and as they don't have lettering sheets, I've had to face them inwards so they're not pressing on plastic. Yeah, so nothing really Sonic related on here, but it's got Commander Brutus and Gilmour. For those who don't know, I am a big fan of Brutus from Sonic the Comic. Definitely one of my favourite creations that Lou Stringer brought to life. And the colouring you can see here is really awesome. These weren't coloured by Carl Flint. These were by John M. Burns, who coloured a lot of strips in Sonic the Comic. When the artist didn't usually colour the strips, it was 9 times out of 10 it would be John M. Burns that would colour it. So we've got some Nigel Dobbin pages now, the late Nigel Dobbin. Nigel was very generous with how he gave away his pages. He used to attend the convention Summer of Sonic. In the US, you had something similar called Sonic Boom. But the Sonic the Comic, many of the Sonic the Comic staff always attended these, and Nigel always brought along his pages. And he sold literally every page for only £20, whether it was a really iconic seminar piece, or whether it was something that maybe weren't so seminar, or even a front cover. He sold them so cheap. He just was glad that they were being appreciated. He wasn't really there to try to make as much money as he could. He was there for the fans, which kind of really showed you the type of person he was. By the time I eventually got to see him at a convention, the majority of his pages had gone, but I managed to get a few that he had left, and we've got some pretty cool Tales ones here from the strip, I believe it was Fall of the Leaf. Yeah, there's Nigel Dobbins' signature there. These ones don't have the lettering sheets either, but they're not like the Carl Flint pages you saw earlier that were really fragile. Those Carl Flint ones literally felt like as flimsy as something like tracing paper. You really had to be careful with it. These are on really thick card. I suppose Nigel Dobbin was most known for his Knuckles, the Echidna arts, and of course they went first. The fans literally got all them. Probably the cover art went first from Nigel Dobbin, but then the Knuckles strips were quickly snapped up. I think I got, this might have been the last page of Knuckles he was selling there at the time, at least the first convention I saw him there. And we've got another one of Fall of the Leaf. This one's got some really good poses here of Tails and the Leaf. Okay, so pretty obvious we know what pages are coming on here. Now, I did show these about a year ago, these specific pages. This is the complete strip of the Final Victory, issue 100, the seminar issue 100, where Supersonic returns, Dr. Robotnik is finally defeated, and huge epic battle. I say the complete strip, this is actually just part 1 of the complete strip that was drawn by Richard Elson. Here's probably the most iconic piece of Supersonic, or Fleetway Supersonic, however people want to call him, from Sonic the Comic. Here is actually the original artwork of it. The amount of times I see this image used in clickbait thumbnails on YouTube of other sources is beyond belief. Usually you'll see it in something like someone trying to do a clickbait title saying like, oh, scariest things in Sonic the Comic or something, and you'll probably see this image in there somewhere. It's a very, very iconic, famous piece from Sonic the Comic. And yeah, that one doesn't have the lettering sheet, but doesn't matter. These ones you can see do have, because they've got the text bubbles. Here's Richard Elson's only time drawing Dr. Zachary in Sonic the Comic. Only a tiny appearance there on the middle left with Dr. Robotnik. Even though Richard Elson had designed the character, he never got a chance to do this. He was originally going to be doing the strip Homecoming, which was going to be Dr. Zachary's, but some things got in the way, and then Richard had to do other work on it. And then that strip was handed to Nigel Dobbin. The most iconic panel, yeah, totally agree, Prosecutor. Those teeth, indeed, very sharp teeth. Keeps them clean though. That supersonic drawing looks beautiful. Indeed, it certainly does. Here's some of the other pages from issue 100. Again, Richard's only time drawing Vermin the Cyberneck. We've got a lot of like only appearances here in this issue. It's very, very awesome. And here we've got Supersonic and Sonic duking it out. Of course, part 2 to the final victory was done by Nigel Dobbin, and those pages probably were one of some of the first that was probably snapped up from his attending of conventions. So from one iconic piece to another, as I said, these aren't in any order. The final victory pages are kind of smaller than these ones, in size at least. We've now come to issue 82, the Running Wild arc. This is actually part 3. This is the complete strip of part 3. Another pretty iconic panel. Not as iconic as the issue 100, but you see this one popping up every now and then. This page is actually quite important to me because this was actually the very first original artwork I ever got of Sonic the Comic, which was a long time ago now, maybe a decade or so ago. But yeah, really happy to have this one. Such awesome artwork. Here we come to the other pages from this arc. Yeah, pretty much, just seeing your comment there, Sword, pretty much every page has a signature on them, probably like 95% I'm going to say. If you don't see the signature on the front, it will be on the back instead, and of course I don't get every page out on here, but the majority of the pages I bought were from the artists themselves. Again, probably 95% of the pages I bought were from the actual artist. So they always either signed them or they asked if I wanted them signed, and I was like, yeah, of course. It's like your artwork, I'd absolutely love to see your signature on it. Towers there, oh dear. This is a pretty great page as well. This is kind of, you don't see this page, a little bit underrated. It's near enough the whole panel, this one, and you've got so many Supersonics going around absolutely crazy around the star post. I really do like this page. Okay, now we've gone back a little bit from 82. Now we are at 72, and this is actually the conclusion arc of Return of Chaotix, which had the ultimate showdown between Sonic Chaotix in Citadel Robotnik against the Brotherhood of Metallics. Love these pages because you've got so many iconic characters on here all in one. Even this first page here, look, you've got Sonic with all of Chaotix and Porker Lewis and Dr. Robotnik. You've literally got like some of the most iconic characters all on one page. Some really good panels here. If you're after specific ones with characters on to have the originals, these have got some great ones. Here we have page 2 with Grimer. Really angry Sonic expression here. Great one with Sonic looking at Robotnik. Some more great stuff. I'm just reading your comment. Okay, welcome Julio Lopez. Shame Sega doesn't want to invest in... Yeah, I get that comment quite a lot. People saying I'd love to see just... Even if like we're never going to get a Sonic the Comic continuation. Even if we were, which we very much doubt, it won't be anything in leagues of the quality of what it was then. But it would be really awesome to have a remastered graphic novel collection. Absolutely agree with you. So here's probably one. No, I'm not. No, it is definitely the most iconic page from this strip. The very iconic, using that word quite a lot here, but we've got the page here with the entirety of the Brotherhood of Metallics, Metal Sonic. I used to love this page as a kid. I always used to just love looking through this. This was one at the time. This was my favourite issue. I think I was up to when I was buying these issues at the time. I absolutely love this page, and seeing it for the first time, I always was just amazed at the quality. That every single Metallics Metal Sonic is drawn in a different pose, and there's just so many on the page. And looking at it in its original artwork version here is just so much even more better because it's massive. Now this one doesn't contain the lettering sheet, and that probably is because if you're a long-term reader of Sonic the Comic, you will recognise very much so this image on the bottom left here with Robotnik going through his paperwork here, trying to find a self-destruct device. This image here was used as the subscription image for Fleetway trying to get you to subscribe to Sonic the Comic, and there was like a funny advert on here saying like, oh, don't get lost in the paperwork or something, subscribe to Sonic the Comic to get your issues delivered to you, which I thought was quite funny and clever. Yeah, so that's probably why this image doesn't have its lettering sheet, because it probably was lost because the page was rescanned to use for the advert. That's my guess. Another really great pose here. I just want to say that the colours of looking at the original version, it really, looking at the issues themselves really doesn't do it enough justice, because the colours are so much more vibrant when you look at it this way in the hand painted, and it's like some of the quality is lost when these original artworks are scanned and then scanned for the comics. Just looking at Sonic here, the panel I've paused on here, the vibrancy of his blue is just so much more. So I use the word vibrant again compared to what you see in the actual issue. It's really, really incredible. The Metallics image literally blew you away when you was a kid. Yeah, I totally agree with you. I was exactly the same boat as you, movie nerds. I do like this page as well, really a lot, because you've got this really awesome, iconic middle panel here of Sonic and Chaotix that just looks so awesome. That them all in their poses there like that. And then we've got this panel, which I'm going to say this technically does count as Metal Knuckles artwork, even though it's technically not Metal Knuckles. It's a picture of the the plans that was going to be used of him. I don't actually own any Metal Knuckles artwork, Metallics, whatever, from the strips when he appears. So this is technically the very first appearance of Metallics Knuckles in Sonic the Comic. And for those that are interested, this actually predates Sonic R, which would have been Metal Knuckles' first appearance. Now we're going to move on to some Brutus pages, and which this is actually the final page of issue 66, which was Project Brutus. I do own the complete strip from this issue. It's just not in order, so we're actually starting at the end and working our way forward first. Here's actually page 1 from issue 66, Project Brutus, in the very epic encounter of Supersonic fighting Commander Brutus. Really, really awesome pages. From a really epic showdown. One of my favourite issues from Sonic the Comic for sure, so it's really awesome to own the original pages of this, even more so. These comics started with the simple art and they ended up outperforming the other comics. This style is just great. Totally agree with you, Freddie Shortviews. Absolutely. Again, as I said, with like the fact that the colours kind of lost in the transfer to the comics, you just see how vibrant Amy looks in the original artworks. She's no way near that bright in the actual comics. So this is actually the final page from issue 65, part 3 of Project Brutus, where Sonic transforms into his evil alter ego Supersonic, preparing for the showdown with Brutus. Really awesome big panel here of him about to go head to head with him. It kind of really left you on a cliffhanger of like the first 3 parts of this story. Brutus totally and utterly humiliated and defeated Sonic and the Freedom Fighters, and you didn't know what he was going to do, and then part 3 ends it on this cliffhanger. It really made you like, Christ, I really want to see what's going to happen here in the next issue. At least that's what me and my friends at the time, who when we was into Sonic the comic, was like. And here's the other page from 66. As I said, it's not in order. This is a pretty awesome page just for Sonic being on the panels alone. He's like, I like it because he's on every panel. So if you was a collector after an original artwork of Sonic on it, this is a great one because he's on every panel with some pretty great poses as well. Okay, so now we've got a pretty great Robotnik piece here. This one's from, I believe it's issue 77. I'm pretty certain on that. Voice of the People. I don't own the complete strip of this one, but I do own a few pages of it. I really wanted this page because I'm a big fan of Robotnik from Sonic the Comic, and this is a really high quality piece of his face. I really love this piece because he just looks so demented in it and so twisted. You just look at that and you know this guy is not a good guy. Here we have again from issue 77. Sonic and Tails dealing with the SBS squad. Really great panel of Sonic on the bottom right there. Welcome to Livestream, John. I just see you pop there. No worries about being late. We're not even halfway through yet. You think SDC Robotnik may be your favourite version of the character? I totally agree. Oh, and welcome to the stream, ADB Master. I've just seen you pop up there. I almost missed your comment. And here's the last few pages. I think I was only missing 2 or 3 pages from this strip, but yeah, I really specifically wanted the Robotnik ones from this, especially this one here, because you've got Robotnik again on every panel. As I said, like with the Sonic one, if you're a Robotnik fan, here he is on every panel. Pretty awesome. So here's a one-off page from issue 102, featuring Sonic and just the brief, this is the last page, brief panel there of Windy Wallace being sucked into the tornado. So I think this whole strip was listed online and I managed to get the last page. Most really wanted it because you've got this really cool panel here of Sonic here. Giving us the wink. Okay, so this is a pretty, another pretty iconic piece from Sonic the Comic. This is from issue 50, where a moment where Sonic's transformed into Supersonic, and he's just fought Metallix Mark II and utterly annihilated him, punched his head clean off, ripped into pieces, and then has now gone on the attack on Knuckles. I only own 1 page from this strip, but this is probably the best page from it. course, the Metallics pages on it are also awesome as well, but for Supersonic alone, this is definitely the best one. Okay, so we've got a page from the Doomsday arc here. I think I've only actually got one page from this strip. And here we've come to another front cover. This is another Carl Flint front cover. This is actually cover artwork for issue 59. You can probably see it on the top left there, the little sticky tab on it. And this one features, you can clearly see, he said Sonic, didn't I? Tails and Knuckles. Okay, so this is, obviously I think this is the first Richard Elson cover artwork we've come to, and you can probably recognise this cover quite a lot because I use it quite often in my intros, outros, and even the cover artwork. I was able to use this image because the whole image around it is clean, as in clean, it doesn't have any of the text and stuff, so I was able to really get a good high quality shot of this. It's cover artwork issue 131. Now I don't really own much artwork of Short Fuse, Cybernik, and Techno, the Canary, so it's pretty great to have both of them as well on a front cover. This might actually be the only piece I own. No, I think I do have one more Short Fuse piece come up, but it might be the only piece I have of Techno. But yeah, really, really great cover. Yeah, indeed, it is the intro panel. So here's actually only one page from another quite old piece. This is actually from one of the Poster Mag issues. This is Mike Hadley, I believe. Sonic the Poster Mag, yeah, it's just a one-off panel. You can tell it's old because Robotnik's not even in his Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog form there. He's in his still classic Robotnik design. So this is pretty cool. The reason it looks a little bit faded on there because it has like a tracing paper overlay on the top of it. Oh, there we have an age. Look, Mike Hadley, 1994. So this was only after literally the first year of Sonic the comic. So 27 years old. So yeah, very old. Here we come to, this was the final piece I had picked up from Nigel Dobbin. I don't really have much Captain Plunder artwork, so it was pretty great to get some from him because he was also quite known for not just drawing Knuckles, but a lot of Captain Plunder stuff too. I've only got the one bit of Knuckles there, and I know he's kind of only looking away from you, but this is a pretty cool page. So we've come to, this is actually a poster that was for Sonic the Comic, and this was by the artist Ferran Rodrigues. He did quite a lot of some early stuff in Sonic the Comic. Really awesome guy, really friendly guy. Met him a few times at some conventions, and I was really lucky to get this. But really great piece of Sonic there. And here we have a page, I believe the artist is Keith Page, funnily, from the Sonic Spinball, loosely based off the Sonic Spinball game. I think this was issue 73, only the one page. It looks odd now seeing that Robotnik in the comic. Yeah, I guess when you think 90% of the comic he was in Adventures form. Well, probably 85%, I'll say. How did you protect those artworks? Good question, John. You want to make sure specifically they are acid-free portfolio sleeves. So if any of you guys or gals, you know, do art stuff in college or something, or school, usually when you protect art pieces for your things, you use like, you probably put them in a portfolio folder. You want to kind of use sleeves that are similar to that. You want to make sure they're acid-free sleeve specifically, because if they're not, they could melt onto the artwork, or the artwork could, you know, the plastic could do bad stuff to these pieces of art. And you definitely don't want that. Also, make sure you've got a piece of acid-free black cardboard in there as well, or thin card. You can see every portfolio sleeve I've got has got some card. Okay, more Ferran Rodrigues. I don't have too many of these pieces, but I'm very happy with the pieces I've got. This is from issue 39, a very infamous strip where Sonic returns to his original brown form and Robotnik turns into the blue Sonic form. Brown Sonic, or original Sonic, whatever you want to call him, really doesn't have many appearances at all in Sonic the Comic, the whole run. So to be able to get a page of him in his original form is pretty rare. So I'm very happy very lucky to have one. I think this strip's kind of got more popularity because of just how kind of infamous and disliked it is. It's mostly universally hated or disliked, and you're not the fans themselves aren't the only people that dislike this. Even the writer himself, the person who wrote this strip, Nigel Kitchen, absolutely hates this story. He hates it, and he wrote it. He looks back at it on absolute regret and wished it had turned out better. I think he really wasn't happy with the style Ferran Rodrigues gave this strip, and one of his regrets I've seen he said is that he would have much rather have had Richard Elson draw this strip, and he thinks it probably might have come out a lot better if it had, with how it was kind of shown to us. Would have been an interesting take, right, seeing Richard Elson draw this strip. Okay, so I said earlier that I only had one page from issue 102. I was wrong. Here's another page. This is the problems you have when they're not in order. You forget things. But pretty cool page. Great picture of Sonic there on the last panel. And here's so I have 3 pages from issue 102. I don't know why I thought I only had the one. But yeah, got 3 pages. Okay, here we've got this story, Total Chaotix, was actually one of my favourites at the time. And this is the conclusion to part 6 of Total Chaotix. And I really like some of the panels we've got on here. We've got some really awesome ones. This was a Knuckles strip solely. It was Knuckles with Chaotix. We've got some great scenes here. We've got Knack the Weasel. We've got Metallics and Knuckles going for the gun here, which will temporarily disable the Brotherhood of Metallics. Some great pieces here, and I really like this end panel here with Knuckles, and all of Chaotix going to work. Really great scene. Yeah, it would have worked very well as an Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog episode. The Blue Robotnik, Sonic No More strip, I should say. And great piece here of the Brotherhood of Metallics reactivating and plotting their next plan. Okay, so I've said before that if someone was to ask me what my favourite issue of Sonic the Comic was, it would probably be 27. A lot of nostalgia to it. It's the very first issue I got, but not just that, it was actually an incredible issue itself, because we had part 4 of the Sonic Terminator, which was the Sonic CD game adaptation arc, and that's an amazing game and story itself, and very, very lucky to be able to actually get the complete original artworks of the very first issue I ever owned from 1994, because this was actually the anniversary issue. I got the very first anniversary. This was year 1 of the first year anniversary. Love this story. Sonic CD, we all know it's a great game. And Yeah, this is such a good issue. What an amazing issue to get as a first pickup. This iconic battle scene between Sonic and Metallics. Lot of nostalgia for this. You like the look of Knack? Sonic fan? Yeah, Knack's cool. Why are most panels of the Brotherhood of Metallics awesome? Yeah, great, they are just awesome characters. So this, I guess you could kind of say this counts as 2 pages, because this was actually used again in the following issue, issue 28, when Sonic goes back in time. But I only ever say it's 1 page, but yeah, this page was used twice. This panel here was always my favourite as a kid, getting this issue, because you've got near enough the full page spread here of Metallics with Sonic and his future self. Such an awesome. You've got all this lightning going around Metallics here, and he's powering up his death ray. All this like electricity coursing through his entire body here and into his eyes. Such an awesome piece. And here we have the follow-up, issue 28. I managed to get this some years later, actually, after 27. And you can see here the title of this strip is actually in colour, so they weren't always in black and white, because this actually predates the Amy Rose appearance we saw earlier. But yeah, this is the complete strip from issue 28, the conclusion of the Sonic Terminator, Sonic CD game adaptation art. Again, so you could kind of include the page that I showed you from 27, because that goes in with this issue as well. Really, really awesome stuff. This one, unfortunately, doesn't have the lettering sheet, but that's all going. It's all good. Here we have Metallics as the feet. Really, really cool. At the time when I bought them, issue 27 was the earliest pieces of Sonic the Comic artwork that I owned, but of course I've got some older stuff since then. This was like years ago. Okay, so we are now up to issue 53, and this is the complete strip of the conclusion to Disaster. That's what the strip was called, which was the Sonic and Knuckles game adaptation arc. Another really iconic strip. We've got the destruction there of the Death Egg, and we see that picture used in memes quite a lot nowadays of Sonic holding the gun. Well, there is the original piece. You have just seen it. Really, yeah, as I said, here's a little closer look at it. Now we have the really iconic fight scene of Sonic versus the Death Egg robot. Indeed, the Sonic 3 and Knuckles arc was very epic, Freddy's short fuse. Followed the game quite a lot too, which was really cool. Followed the game very closely. It was kind of the last video game adaptation that would follow a video game as closely accurately as it was from Sonic the Comic. Okay, so we've come to a Richard Elson original artwork front cover. Now this is actually the front cover artwork from issue 125. Quite an important one for Richard Elson, because this is actually the very first piece of photoshopped colouring that he ever did for Sonic the Comic, and it may well have been his actually very first piece of Photoshop coloured artwork he ever did. So yeah, issue 125. This was the very first piece, and it's interesting. If you look at it carefully, you can see some of the corrections that were going to be made on it, because you can kind of see like some Tipex markings of changes and stuff on there. If I kind of zoom in here, you'll see some of it. Okay, so these aren't essentially pages that appeared in Sonic the Comic. These are actually loose stringer. There's two of them you're going to see here. A black and white one, which you see here, and a coloured one. These are loose stringers sample pages that he submitted to Fleetway for the job vacancy of becoming an artist for Sonic the Comic. These are his original pages he submitted for that job. Now, he didn't actually get the job of being an artist for Sonic the Comic. Instead, he was hired to be a writer for it instead. And you can see there's Sonic the Comic Sample 1. If Loose Stringer was an artist for Sonic the Comic, this is kind of the art style we may have seen more of in the comic. There's the black and white one, and here is the coloured version. Kind of really feels like something from Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, doesn't it? This kind of style. At least I think so. But yeah, definitely quite important pieces of Sonic the Comic history. Very, very unique. And Loose Stringer signed it here on the bottom. Okay. Here we have a very widely remembered story from issue 76. And this is actually the front cover artwork from issue 76, where Porker Lewis quits the Freedom Fighters, and it's kind of most remembered nowadays of Sonic, how angry Sonic is at the start of the issue, but if people actually read the whole issue, they would understand it a lot more. But yeah, I'm not going to get into that. This is the original artwork of it, and it looks pretty awesome here. The top part is, of course, all clear, because that's where the title was going to be. And you can see the kind of where the paint, it was painted and kind of brushing off over the side to the left and right, which was going to be cut off. So, I mean, Tails was like completely, this left part of him here where the line is was completely like cut off. You don't even see it. So yeah, this is great. This was actually done in two pieces, Richard told me. He actually drawed the characters on a separate piece, and it was cut out, and then it was put on the background to kind of give it a 3D look to it, which I think really worked out well. Okay, one of my favourite front covers, another one of my favourite issues. This is the front cover artwork of 37 from the Sonic the Hedgehog free game adaptation arc. We've got really, really awesome poses of Sonic and Knuckles looking head to head. In a way, you could kind of say it's one of the more basic covers, because you can't really see too much. You've just got Sonic and Knuckles' head and their gloves, but it just looks so awesome aesthetically of what we can see here of them. I really, really, really cool. A lot of nostalgia for this cover, and the actual original cover from the comic actually cuts off, like you don't even see this part of Knuckles' glove here on the left hand side here, this clip. No, none of these ones are photoshopped, John. All these are actually hand painted that you see here. Only the ones that are black and white will be ones that were coloured online. So they are all these ones here are hand painted. Okay, now we have a exclusive Robotnik cover. This was actually the cover artwork from 57, where we had the dinosaur Badnik mechanic, the Robotnik Unleashed. If you're a Robotnik fan, this is definitely a great cover. And here is a cover that's not actually Sonic on it. This is actually the only piece from Sonic the Comic that is from the Streets of Rage stories from Sonic the Comic, a lot of Sonic the Comics. And this is actually the cover artwork for issue 43. So I'm pretty happy to own this because I'm a big fan of Streets of Rage, and the strips were pretty awesome as well in the comic. So to get one of the cover artworks is pretty cool. So you just saw a little peek of it before we got to it. This is actually the cover artwork for the holiday issue 1 of the holiday special of Sonic the Comic. This is quite an early Richard Elson one. And you can see there's kind of like some notes here. It says here, you know, Sonic Summer Special, front cover artwork, and there's some other stuff that was kind of crossed out. You can tell this is quite an old one because Richard's drawn Robotnik with the grey shoulders, which only appeared in some of his really early strips. Thank you for joining Freddy Short Views. Thank you for joining. Enjoy the rest of your day. Love the details of all the badniks around here. So we've come to some cover artworks now. We're going to come to quite a few black and white cover artworks from some of the reprint stories. Welcome, Marcel, to the live stream. Remember when STC did other Sega stories? Yeah, the non-Sega stories are kind of not really remembered that much. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't even know there was non-Sega stories. So this is the cover artwork for issue 213. Now we've gone to the Sonic Adventure game adaptation arc. This is actually the cover artwork for 178. Featuring Sonic. You know, I didn't actually realise until I got this original artwork that Sonic actually, his mouth is open. When you see the original issue, I just assumed his mouth was closed and you couldn't see it, but you can see he actually has a little mouth open there. You could be confused to thinking that was actually a piece of chaos falling off some of his water. Thanks for joining the live stream, John, from the Philippines. Yeah, it's quite late out there, but thank you for joining. So I don't own too much chaos artwork from Sonic the Comic, so here is an awesome one. Great cover, as I said before, I'm a big fan of Brutus. This is the cover artwork from issue 186, which was the reprint story of Project Brutus. You've got Brutus grabbing Sonic there with quite force. And these cover artworks, especially these black and white ones, they're massive, which is why we're coming to them last, because they're kind of at the bottom of my collection. You can kind of see they take up pretty much the entirety of the portfolio sleeve I've got these in. And you can see so much detail on these original artworks that you can't see on the cover, like the top of Brutus's cape here and all of his feet, all that stuff's cut out on the comic covers that you see in printed version. So here's the original artwork for issue 199. This was actually the reprint story of Voice of the People. You've got Sonic jumping through Robotnik's mouth here. You could be confused for looking at this until you saw it coloured, that you could actually think this was Robotnik himself, because it's hard to know because he actually is a statue and it's stone, but without in colour, it kind of actually does look like he is jumping through Robotnik's mouth. Welcome to the stream, Violet May. Okay, Supersonic fans, you'll love this one. This is the reprint front cover from the strip Running Wild. It's quite interesting. I own the strip of Running Wild, the original strip, and here's actually the cover of the reprint of that strip. Got Supersonic here grabbing Amy and Towers from issue 203. You enjoyed the Fleetway Supersonic vid? Well, thank you very much. Glad you enjoyed it. It got a lot of popularity, that one. Okay, this may be my favourite front cover. Although it's essentially, I do really enjoy the Doomsday arc. It's one of my favourites, but it's not my most favourite. But this cover may be my most favourite, at least from my collection, just how detailed and awesome this looks. Whereas some of the other original art which we've seen, it's kind of been in a square inside card. This is the entire panel, this one, the whole thing. Now this one was actually coloured by John M. Burns. It was drawn by Richard Elson, but it was coloured by John M. Burns, and the absolute detail of this is incredible. We've got all these different poses here of Sonic as he's jumping into the centre panel here. The detail of all the buildings around it is just coloured. It just looks incredible. This is probably my favourite cover artwork that I own. Okay, that was issue 97. I should have just said there. This is actually a reprint cover artwork from issue 194. This was actually the reprint story of The Return of Chaotix, Part 6, which you saw the original artworks of that earlier. This is actually one of Richard Elson's favourite front covers that he drew. He really, really likes this one, and who could blame him? You've got Sonic here fighting off against all these Metallicses. Really, really awesome. I'm a big fan of Metal Sonic Metallics anyway, so this is a great, great one to own. So, we come to the issue before that now. This is the cover artwork for issue 193, and this is quite an important one. You've got some very interesting facts about this one. This cover contains, we'll get to it, if I just zoom in a bit more. We've got, of course, Sonic on here, but we've also got classic Robotnik, which is the only classic Robotnik original artwork, at least I've got on a front cover. We've even got Kintobor on here. Now, this was Kintobor's only appearance on a front cover artwork for Sonic the Comic, on the left, the right, sorry, of Sonic. You could kind of include the Badnik version of him in the earlier issues on the cover, but he weren't actually visible on there. This is the only actual time we can see Kintobor on a cover artwork. And here it is, the original. And not just Kintobor, we've actually got original Sonic down here as well. Oh, and also, you know, you can see, you can kind of just make out Sonic speed there on there. We've also got the original Sonic here. As I said earlier, there's not many, you know, original Sonic, Brown Sonic, didn't really make many appearances at all on here, and this is the only, I believe it was the only second appearance he made on a cover for Sonic the Comic, and here it is. Sonic the Comic audio version part 2. Yeah, I know, I'm really got a backlog of content to get made. It will eventually come. Now we've come to the reprint cover art of 214. Back to the Sonic Adventure arc, we've got the cover artwork for 182, and then we're coming back to Running Wild again. Here's the cover artwork for issue 204, the conclusion to the Running Wild arc. Really great to see Super Sonic here with Amy, Johnny and Towers. And now we're going to Heroes and Villains. As what the arc, this was part 2. This was actually the cover artwork for 206. You've got Sonic here looking behind with Super Sonic's hands. And if you look at the cover issue itself for this, Sonic's actually shouting Super Sonic. So this is the cover artwork for issue 219 for Sonic the Comic. And I guess you could say this is the newest piece of Sonic the Comic artwork I own, because Sonic the Comic only went up to 223, This is 219, so this was kind of like the last newest piece I own in my collection. I don't own anything from 220, 221, 223, which is only 4 issues afterwards. This is the final newest piece from my collection of Sonic here on the surfboard, which is, if you look at this cover, it's really coloured well. It's all in dark colours and everything. It's really awesome. You're making a Sonic the Comic revival? Yeah, good for you. Go for it. There's enough. There's definitely a lot of people out there doing, fan-made continuations for Sonic the Comic, and you should definitely go for it. Okay, some more Super Sonic. This is actually from the cover artwork of 217, and this is the reprint story, the Final Victory. Just get it out there. So I showed you the complete pages earlier from issue 100. Here's the cover artwork for the reprint version of it from issue 100. Sounds a lot confusing, I know. I know there is someone out there that does own the actual artwork from issue 100. It's a really awesome cover. But I'm really happy with this one instead. Because can't go wrong with Super Sonic. You can see why Nigel K thought that one strip would have been better in Elson's hands. Yeah, you're referring to the Sonic No More strip that I was talking about half an hour ago. Okay, pretty iconic cover. We've gone back to Cole Flint. This is the cover artwork for issue 50 with the statue version of it's like a statue version of Sonic. Now, for those that are familiar with issue 50's front cover, this might look slightly different to you because this was slightly altered on with some computer colouring for the finished version. Whoever's decision it was at Fleetway or something, because it wasn't Cole Flint's decision, they didn't want it being a silver statue, and it was actually kind of changed to gold. So if you go Google or something, or go on the channel and look at issue 50, and you'll see the colour of the statue here of Sonic was changed to gold as opposed to silver. Do you like Sonic Colors Rise of the Wisps? So it's getting a HD remaster, right? I'm not a huge fan of the game. I don't mind it. I don't mind the game. I don't mind it, but it's not one of my favourites. Honestly, I would rather they had done a HD remaster of Sonic Unleashed, which come out like 2 years prior to it. Honestly, I would much rather have that. But still, I probably will end up getting colours. So here's some black and white pages. I don't think I've actually shown any black and white pages. I think I've only just shown you covers. As you can see, these are a lot smaller than the cover artworks. I've actually managed to fit 2 of these per portfolio sleeve. And we've got, some of these are from various strips. The page on the left is from the Mirror Zone story, and the one on the right is from the Shannon's arc. This is a pretty cool one on the left here, and the right you've got the evil Sonic from the Mirror Zone. And, 2 Amy's fighting here. And here is actually the only double spread page I own of Sonic the Comic. Now, double spread pages are very rare. I think there's only actually 4 that was ever released for the entire run of Sonic the Comic. And this is one of them. I guess you could probably say it's the least popular out of the 4, but I'm still glad to have one of them. Richard Elson, I think it's 4, so he did the double spread page from the Sonic and Knuckles arc, where Sonic's jumping out of the Death Egg. There was the one from Heroes and Villains, where Sonic's about to hit Super Sonic, and you had Sidewinder and Chaotix in there. You had Think. You had the one with Sonic and Metal Knuckles fighting. Oh, and you also had the one where, just before the Robotnik Reigns Supreme arc, where Sonic's with the Guardian robots trying to get the emeralds. And then you've got this one, so there's 5. There is 5 double spreads pages that was released for Sonic the Comic, and here is one of them. I know Richard has sold, I think, the other a couple off from the double spread pages, and they went for quite a lot of money, but you know, this is still cool. And this is from issue 145 for those curious. Welcome to the live stream, AC. You've joined us as we're kind of close to wrapping up there, but appreciate you dropping in anyway. So, here we come. Christmas is only, what, 7 months away? Here's some Christmas artwork for you. This is issue 93's front cover artwork from artist Carl Fint again. These ones we're coming to now are absolutely huge. They fill up the entire portfolio sleeves, and actually one of them is actually too big to fit in a portfolio sleeve. And that's why these ones are at the end, because they're at the bottom part in my storage. This is huge, you can see here. Okay, so here is, this wasn't in Sonic the Comic, but this is what Richard Elson drew for the 25th anniversary, which would have been 3 years ago now. This was his 25th anniversary print. Now, there wasn't many physical versions of this print released. It was drawn by Richard Elson, but it was coloured, I believe, by Pete Murphy, I think it was, from the fan-made continuation. Yeah, this is really, really awesome. This was like the first piece of Sonic the Comic artwork Richard had drawn in years. It's a great piece. I know Richard does plan on one day colouring this himself, because he wants to do a coloured version of this as well. So this is kind of based off the well, not kind of based off, it is from the it's like a modernised version of when Sonic fought Metallic's Knuckles. You've got Metallic's Knuckles there defeated with the weapon like in his chest. You've got the Drake and Fish coming out there. You've got Robotnik, and you've got Emperor Kodor, and Knuckles punching Sentinel. It's a very big piece, which is why it's quite close to the bottom part of my collection. And there's Richard's signature there. Okay, we're coming close to the end now. Here we have another huge front cover. This is actually the cover artwork for issue 93. You might be confused thinking this looks like something else, and that's because the cover artwork for 93 was digitally changed quite a lot. All this yellow background you see here was kind of changed around. Again, go have a look at the original cover. Well, not this is the original. Go have a look at the cover we got for issue 93. You'll see it looks a lot different to this. Of course, you've got Sonic and Short Fuse are on it, but a lot of the background was changed. A lot more stuff was on it. Didn't know about this cover. It's awesome. You loved STC designs. Yeah, well, that's great to hear, Violet May. Thank you once again. I can see we've got a super chat here from Ospiro. Thank you very kindly. I really appreciate that a lot. It'll help in more ways than you know. So thank you. So yeah, I think this is only the second and only piece of Short Fuse the Cybernetic I own. But I did say I owned one, so that piece of Techno the Canary I had earlier is actually the only piece I own of her. And now we come to the largest original artwork in my collection. This thing is absolutely massive. This is the cover artwork for issue 102. You saw some of the pages earlier in the video, and here is actually the cover artwork. I don't know why Richard wanted to draw this one so big, but this is massive. Now, this was actually too big to go in a portfolio sleeve, so I actually had to cut the portfolio sleeve apart and make kind of 2 portfolio sleeves together to fit this into one. You can just see how big it is. It's hard to see just from the camera, but you can kind of see where my hand is here, just how big this is. It's massive. This is why this one goes at the bottom of my collection because it's just so huge. And it's a really awesome piece because, again, the cover that we got for Sonic the Comic drastically zooms in on this, and all the detail of the buildings here and the tornado, it's all, you don't see any of that in the actual cover artwork that we got. An interesting thing is, though, is that the mouth on Sonic here was different than what Richard Elson drew. Now, this was coloured again by John M. Burns, but for some reason, John M. Burns changed the mouth on Sonic here. Apparently, Sonic had a more angrier expression, but for some reason, John decided to change it. Don't know why, never found out why. And I know Richard weren't best pleased with that, because he kind of changed his artwork. But that's like a little funny story from back when this was going on. Mecca from the 80s, you have a question about merchandise. How do you get an official Knack the Weasel plush? Well, I guess you have to time it right and hope that someone lists it without knowing the true price. They're very rare. Your probably best bet is looking at some of the Japanese websites like Mercari or Yahoo Japan. I don't think you often see them on eBay. Maybe one day GE or Tomy will release a new one, so you can get one that's not stupidly expensive. Tomy have done a great job of like the Mighty plush. Now, who would have thought? I would never have thought 5-10 years ago that one day we would get Mighty the Armadillo merchandise. But here we are. GE have done a really good job as well of releasing obscure characters for Sonic merchandise. I've got to give them a lot of credit for that. Unfortunately, they're not that well mass produced, so some of the characters are actually really expensive to get a hold of, them plushes now. And the plushes aren't exactly high quality themselves, like they're not made with the highest end material. They're only like $10-15 plushes. But now some of the obscure characters like Chaos and Charmy B, I've seen going for a lot of money online. Yeah, the audio version will eventually come. Trust me. I've got some other projects as well, also in the work. I've got the Robotnik series as well. I'm trying to get done and finished. It's a lot to do. Here's a last few original artworks I've got. Some black and white ones, which I haven't actually got in portfolio sleeves because I've run out of sleeves. And you can see the signatures are on the back here, because I know the Sword was asking about... What was the Sword? He was asking about signatures earlier. The ones that aren't on the front, they are signed on the back. As these ones aren't hand-painted, doesn't matter too much at the moment. I haven't got them in sleeves. But yeah, here we go. It's a shame, really, that kind of everything's in a digital format now. I kind of really feel you lose something when you've got it in this this traditional way of drawing. I can understand it's a lot easier with, doing things digitally. At least with colouring and stuff, it's less mess, but... Yeah, so that brings us to the end of the video. This went on for a lot longer than I thought it was going to be. A lot longer. But I appreciate everyone joining me here for this live stream. It's been a pretty awesome anniversary live stream, and I appreciate everyone that's come along and joined in for this. Let me just see what you last few comments are saying here. It was you. Oh, that's good. It was you. I'm talking a lot in this stream. I kind of forgot who it was, but yeah, that's awesome. If I go to Japan one day, look out for you. Okay, I'll look out for you, but I think the chances of me going to Japan at the moment are pretty slim with, virus of unknown origins that we won't get into. Yeah, as I said, keep an eye on the websites. You never know, you might be lucky. They're not that hard to use, trust me. But if I do see one out there, I'll let you know. Check the Discord. But yeah, I'm going to wrap this stream up here. Once again, thank you very much for joining, everyone. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for joining in. I'm going to leave this video up public for a few days for those that missed out before I'll put it on unlisted. So those will be able to check out on it. So if anyone's watching this on repeat now and you've made it to the end, thank you for watching the video. Until next time, everyone, take care of yourselves, enjoy the rest of your day, and happy 28th anniversary